Cancer, the moon is entering into Taurus and now we're coming back full circle. We're reflecting on what has happened during this lunar cycle, and a lot may come up too because Mercury is going to be entering back into their home sign of Gemini. Stay tuned to figure out how to work with these energies, Cancer. But before we jump into that, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes and shares. Your support really is just the greatest, Cancer. It just always keeps me grounded. And it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, know that when you're coming across this video, you're in sync with the moon and she's in love with that. Now, Cancer, this is also for those of you who have Cancer in your placement. Sun, moon, rising, maybe even Venus, wherever, Cancer, this one's for you. I love Kid Venus and Cancer. That's a lovely time. And I do tarot card spreads based upon ruler here, the good old moon. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what page she's in, and when she's going forward. Of course, just all of those lunar shenanigans. And just so y'all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me. Never force a reading on a situation, and everything will be dope, Cancer. Now, let's jump into it. All right, Cancer, your space has been cleansed. Crystals, feeling lovely. Maybe even a little nostalgic. Just great age around your Cancer sidebar. This shirt here, this radio station. This is what I grew up listening to as a kid. this station would travel through me in all my journeys. That was an interesting time. This and classical. I think it was 91.9. Whatever, Cancer. In case y'all were curious, that may come up for you on a Jeopardy game. You're welcome. But Cancer, it is, depending on when you're watching this, it is Sunday. And Sundays really are a great day. Sundays are associated with Sundays, big shocker. And this is a great day for, one, really kind of taking care of your health. This can be a great, just kind of seeing if you've been feeling a little down, maybe you've been feeling like you've not been shining as brightly as you could be. It could be a great time to tend to that. Maybe I don't know if doctors are not actually working. Most doctors' offices are closed on Sundays, but maybe you can set up appointments. I've heard this could be a great time to set up doctor's appointments on Sundays. But this could be a great time for presenting. I'm going to start doing lives here soon, and I'm going to be just planning. I intend on doing at least a live day on Sundays because it's just a great time for when your energy is shining through. And I have even though I'm not associated with any sort of like sun days or hours, I have a lot of Leo energy in my chart. So the sun and I, we get along. So we have a really nice relationship. So, that's something too, where you can look to see how your relationship is with your chart in the with the sun in your it can get so nuanced with these energies. But yeah, think of the Sundays as just like an energy of just kind of shining bright. This could be a great time for, I feel, even doing any sort of like promotions. This could be where you're doing, if you're doing like having any sort of like YouTube stuff, for example, doing like different posts, scheduling different things, possibly explore with this stuff, play with these different times and these different hours and things. But yeah, those are just some things that you can work with on Sundays. And also to Cancer, this is kind of a busy day, which no surprise, because Mercury is going to be entering into their home sign of Gemini. And that'll be actually happening actually not today, but it'll be happening on the 3rd. And just shortly after midnight at about 12:36 a.m. and that'll be Pacific time. And when Mercury enters into Gemini, this can be where the mind just things go into overdrive. This is where Mercury is just cruising on through, sprinting on through with Gemini. And so if you find yourself in a state of overwhelm, or if you're just been taking in a lot, let's say a lot of social media, or this could be even just doing a lot of studying, for example. I know that's something that I have to be mindful of. I can just like go consume, and it's just like, how am I digesting any of this? How am I processing this stuff? Writing things down can be really beneficial during Gemini, when we're in a lot of Gemini energy. This could be great because you never know what kind of ideas may come up for you. There Cancer, because just as quick as they could come, they can go when we're working with Gemini. And that's something to be mindful of, spreading yourself too thin when we're talking about Mercury entering into Gemini, because then we're in a lot of heavy influence as we're getting ready to come into this new moon, and Mercury is going to be the one that is fueling this energy, being that they're the ones that are dignified in Gemini. So just something to pay attention to there, Cancer. Now, nice thing though, even though Mercury is going to be entering into this early on, the moon will be entering into Taurus before then, so at least you'll have a little bit of grounded energy going into this, Cancer. Now, depending on when you're watching this, the moon will enter into Taurus at about 3:03 p.m. and she's still in that waning crescent or balsamic moon. And when we're thinking about the waning crescent, Cancer, this is where we're just kind of surrendering to the universe. This is a time to just kind of assess where things are happening. And now we're really in the, it's just like the last whisper of moonlight that we're getting into when we're in this phase. And this is a time I really feel where we want to be as receptive as possible, especially in this state, because the moon is exalted in Taurus. That means after our sign, Cancer, this is where the moon is celebrated and where the moon is strong and where the moon feels secure and grounded and receptive and nurtured. And, this is Venus. This is one of the signs that Venus is associated with. So there's this soft feminine energy that goes through here. And so that's why the moon is able to shine in this energy. And Taurus energy is very intuitive. It is one where it's so grounded in itself and has this unique relationship with nature, really kind of tune into that environment. So this really, I feel, is a time to, if you can, get out there in nature and just kind of listen to what inspires you. Look at the clouds come on by, feel the sun on your skin, feel the rain on your face, feel the whatever weather is going on. Just connect with the moment. And I feel that can be a very inspiring time, it can be a very healing time, a great time to just relax. Again, the waning crescent is great for deep breathing and self-care. And self-care doesn't always have to be where we're booking spa days or doing anything super elaborate. It can be just finding a space underneath a tree and just, maybe sitting up against it, putting your head against it. This could be sitting with your pets, your little fur babies, and just kind of getting in that moment and just... And listen, there's Mercury is going to remind us that there is always something that could be going on. We're so used to just being go, 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 go. But this really is a great time for the moon to just kind of get stable again, to find out what she truly values. And that's another thing when we're thinking about Taurus. And, this happens every lunar cycle. We get to this place where... right before we're getting to the new energy, the one that starts it off is the one that we're reflecting on right before we take it into the next chapter. And so I feel this is thinking too, how have your values shifted over this lunar cycle? How have you been finding security in yourself? How have you been finding that inner peace in Taurus? Do the things that you used to invest in, maybe you're investing differently into now. So again, this is a time to really just kind of be with that, be present with those types of questions. And yeah, I really like when the moon is in Taurus, and with the moon in Taurus too. Take care of your senses. Cook yourself a home cooked meal, and absolutely. I love that there, Cancer. Thank you, higher self. We'll get into that in a moment, but absolutely, take care of yourself. Cook yourself a home cooked meal. This could be do something, get it, like I'm just picturing like a working with your hands, even maybe doing some clay, or maybe get messy, Cancer. This is Taurus is like the creative, the musician. Maybe do some feel this the speaking of music, I'm talking about the radio. Turn on the radio, Cancer. Put on some jams. Put on something that just gets the vibe, gets you feeling in just a great space. It doesn't matter what it is, but something that just brings you peace and uplifting, that makes you know that you're just and because I feel like that can be a great thing going into this Gemini energy, real kind of focus on, well, like a kind of focus there, get out of the mind for a minute, and bring the mind and the heart together. So now on Mercury Day, on Wednesday, the 5th of June, the moon is going to be going void of course, and it's going to be a very short one, and it's going to be happening pretty early depending on the time zone that you're in. But she'll be going void of course from 1:08 a.m. to 1:35 a.m. and when she's moving from Taurus into Gemini. Now, the void, of course, is when the moon forms her final aspect with the celestial body. And then it's where she's just kind of roams the void, where I like to think of it as where the whatever happened during this chapter in Taurus, or whatever sign she's traveling in, it's that time is becoming a memory. It's starting to, we're in a time of self-reflection. This is a time where there's no energy, a time to not do anything, to reflect, to do some self-care. If you happen to be maybe awake during that time, maybe can't sleep with all the Mercury energy going on, feeling overly stimulated. Again, finding some ways to ground. This could be literally going outside, getting your feet on the ground, and just kind of being in that space. It's early, feel the moon, be in that void, allow yourself to just kind of connect with that source that's bigger than yourself there, Cancer. And that could be very beneficial too, considering that the aspect that she's forming is usually the flavor of the void of course period of time. And granted, it's only going to be for a short little while, but it can be one that can bring up a lot of potentially some inspiration there, because she's going to be forming a sextile with Neptune. Now, sextiles are when the planets are 60 degrees apart. So that's usually when they're in complementary elements. So we're talking earth here and water, for example, or it would be like fire and earth. Or excuse me, fire and air. And when we're thinking of aspects with the moon, it's just now she's that energy. We're feeling that's we're being receptive to these Neptune themes in how this is going on in your chart. So what this is could be bringing up, this can be a time to really kind of dabble or pay attention to your daydreams that may come up, a time to maybe stare. When we're thinking about Taurus, like I was saying, this could be a great time to just get grounded in nature, especially if you're having maybe trouble sleeping during that time, you happen to be up, or if you just happen to be where, depending on where the time is, just being in that moment to get some fresh air, to take in the sounds around you, what animals, birds, the trees rustling, is the wind blowing, is it cold, is it hot, is it humid, is it dry, what's really kind of going on here. And I find when we can get into that space, that Neptunian space, that allows us to kind of transcend out of the ego, to disconnect from the immediate environment and see outside of yourself. This can be a time where you can really feel your that soul part of you, Cancer, really kind of observe what's going on with you. How are you feeling? But the sextile energies, they bring up, they're an easy flowing energy. They can bring up though opportunities, different kind of insights, different inspirations. And so write this stuff down, even if it doesn't make sense in that moment. Maybe it'll come up in a conversation with someone there, and then you end up in some sort of collaborative project or whatever this means. Maybe this inspires some kind of other move or kind of piece there. But that would be one way, I would say, one way to work with these energies here, Cancer. But if you're looking to get a more kind of detailed approach to what's going on in your chart and these energies, book a reading with me. I have links down in the description box with the service that I provide. We can discuss your solar return, which is when the sun is forming a conjunction with your natal sun, see what themes are going to be the focus for you for this year. The one that's actually wrapping up for me This past year, my sun sign is normally natally in the 12th house, but this year my sun was in the third house alongside with Mercury, which was in Cancer, which is not normal for me. My Mercury's is in Leo, but it was me thinking and really kind of understanding my emotions of that emotional state a lot more. It was a very busy time being that it was happening in the third house. This was a very busy time for me as far as like I had a lot of learning that I was doing, a lot of courses, just a lot of information that was coming in. Relationships were changing with people, a lot of actions that I were taking that, made that were lining up emotionally. It changed up. It was a very interesting year because how it was lining up in my chart too. Venus and Mars were conjunct each other, and Venus and Mars are conjunct each other in my natal chart as well, and they are conjunct at my natal chart but reverse. It's a whole thing, Cancer, but it's neat how that can come together. There was some stuff. Pluto is by my midheaven. That's been very, and I've been there thinking about as far as like how where I'm defining myself, how that has been bringing me power, and just like it's been yeah, a whole year. But you can at least see the landscape. This gives you a chance to this wasn't necessarily that these energies were happening to me. It gave me a chance to, okay, explore these themes in my life. How are these third house themes going on for me? How am I relating to my immediate environment, which changed quite a bit during that year? And I related to them. It was very different. And I did a lot of the moves were based on kind of these emotional shifts that are emotional kind of Cancerian things that initiated. So these are just some examples of how you can work with this energy, how you can feel more in the flow and not feel that where you're not just being pushed and pulled along the waves, where you can flow in the waves. And especially the lunar return chart as well, with those of you who have Cancer in your personal placement, sun, moon, rising, Mercury, Venus, Mars, really can kind of help you again get in that flow and understand that emotional landscape to be. And that's a great place for the cardinal water to be, to know where they're at emotionally and how to make those adjustments depending on the flow, depending on the cycle, depending on how the moon is connecting with your energy. So if that's something that's resonating with you, Cancer, definitely check that out in the description box below. And also I'm going to be putting down a link for my LinkedIn as well. I'm still getting that page built up, so stay tuned for that. And you can also check it out on my Instagram. But Cancer, let's go ahead and and also Cancer, these readings that I do, they're not gender specific readings, so keep that in mind when we're going through that. I don't know why I'm coming at you, Cancer, but just be mindful of that. But Cancer, let's get into your general energy today, because you got one of our cards, the last quarter moon in Cancer, which is take a breather, Cancer. And absolutely, when we're in this Taurus energy, Cancer, Taurus is meant to be slow, but that doesn't mean like it's Taurus is slow in the sense that it's methodical, it's practical. It's like we're not rushing when we're building this stuff. We want to make sure that this means something to us. So again, we're in a very quiet time, a time of really, I feel, pivotal kind of receptive energy right now, being again at this last little bit of light before the moon goes dark again. And then we it's always really nice, Cancer, when I think about the new moon. That is a really special time, I think. We're always talking about looking at the moon when she's full and when she's full of light. But I think a really special time to connect with the moon and be receptive is when you can't see her, is when she's not, when the focus point is not on her, when it's seeing through her eyes, seeing the universe. Seeing, that's when I picture when the moon's going void of course. That's what the moon is taking in. Is she's taking in the vastness that is going on. That's the signals from those higher forces, those messages that you get from this conduit here, Cancer. Taurus is the Hierophant in tarot. Feeling a lot, Cancer, and this is. Find your breath, Cancer. This is a time for that too. We take on a lot being having water placements. And so even if it's just a little bit, I don't have a whole bunch of water in my chart, but it's in enough, it's in a personal enough place, especially too. I got my Chiron too, and my son's can, depending, and especially if you have more water, that is something where you do want to be mindful of what you're taking in. Do some mindful breathing, some exercises that cleanse your energies, and just so that you can find you an opportunity with that sextile with Neptune to find yourself again. But also I wanted to mention too, just thinking about with that aspect that's being formed, even though it's a short time, when we have aspects with Neptune, and we're going to be having those for a little while longer while she's at this last degree of Pisces, Neptune's going to be the theme during the void of course, and I feel that's going to be very important for us, how we sync up with that, how we connect with that, with rest and connect during those down times. Cancer can be very pivotal before Neptune gets into Aries, and then that won't be the case anymore. It'll be different themes going forward. So, and Cancer, I do feel too like the take these void of course energies too are a reminder that we just don't go all the time, even though they seem a little sporadic. The moon takes a break, and that reminds us too that we do need to tend to our needs. Not just every now and again. She does this every 2.5 days. She's going void of course. Sometimes she's doing it for 20 minutes. Sometimes she's doing it for 20 hours. It's just depending what's been going on. And so that's something I feel too with this take a breather, be kind to yourself. I think of it even how like there's sometimes with working out, there are days where I'm feeling like real strong. I'm like, yes. And then there are other days it's just like, this is heavier than it was last time. But that one time where I was like, hell yeah, I may have got some good rest. I may have been feeling something, feeling upbeat that day. And then the day where it was feeling heavier, maybe I had a tough and emotional time. Maybe I didn't get enough sleep. Maybe I hadn't eaten as much, whatever was going on. So let's get some energy on this here, Cancer. Let's see what's going on with this. This is very intuitive energy. This gives me Hierophant, High Priestess, even Empress. Just really divine energies right now, but especially High Priestess. With where we're. Oh, here's Neptune. Think you heard yourself. Ha! And there's my girl. What's good? So Cancer, you have the Ace of Pentacles, the Three of Pentacles, and the Empress, Venus in reverse. And then you have the Tower, Mars, and Venus and Mars. I was just talking about them. And the Hanged Man, Neptune upright here, Cancer. We're going to start. So with the Hanged Man here, Cancer, with this take a breather, I do feel that there's, again, this period of time is one that's meant to, it's not this, yes, I know there are other things going on here, but I feel like this is a time to really pay attention to what do you want to start up next. And I feel like in order to do that, we have to take care of ourselves first, because the Pentacles, what I'm feeling with this is that the Pentacles, they don't just deal with our resources as far as like our money. It deals with our health, with our of course our material resources and stuff. But I'm thinking about that health aspect, and if we're working, I feel too hard here, because this the three of Pentacles. This is Mars in Capricorn, which is strong, which is a very strong energy. Mars in Capricorn will go, but it'll go on the shadow end. It'll go till it can't, till a tower moment happens, till it hurts itself, and not that I'm saying you're gonna hurt yourself, Cancer, but till we lead to a state of burnout, till the universe, puts us in a Hanged Man situation. The Hanged Man in the Tower gives me a delay that is meant, it may seem extreme in that moment, but it's a blessing in disguise. I know someone kind of close to us who they're Aries sun. They're one who is just kind of go go go, mover shaker, just never took time to be for Empress time. Took time for themselves. It was just the going energy. But they recently went through a surgery, and thankfully everything's fine. But like they were saying that it's just like where normally this would be a scary thing, but this is like I've not taken a time for myself. It just made me realize that like man, I have just been going all the time, and now I just need to be still. And so that's what I feel this energy is going through here. We're not used to, I feel, where rest is celebrated. Where we're like, one thing I always remember when I would be at like restaurants, for example, and I would be like the lead on the time, and like people would happen to call off when I was on lead. They'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for blah blah blah." I'm like, "Why? Don't be sorry, because you being miserable here is useless for me and you. Stay at home. I don't care if you don't feel like it. I get that. Like if I'd rather you just tell me that. We don't need to be elaborate. It's just like, listen, I'm having a day. I'm having a life." And I need a minute. I need 2 minutes. I'm like, okay, bet. Bet. And I feel like that if we can get into a place where we can just celebrate that rest time more, that time to take a breather, even if it's just a few minutes. Cancer, I know we're go, 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 we got things to do, but the in order for the Empress to do what she does best, she has to know when it's time to take action, when it's time to heal herself, because she can't do her best work when she's running ragged. So yeah, just something I feel to think about, and I feel like it's in that's where the inspiration comes, where the new ideas, new insights come in here, Cancer. But let's get some more on this. And Cancer, I'm just thinking with the Empress, she's giving me this energy too of someone who doesn't have the luxury of maybe treating themselves like it's like it's giving me that, for example, like the single parent type of energy where you of course you're exhausted, of course you're this, of course you want to do those things, but you can't because you have to this and that. You know, I'm just thinking with that, if and I'm not a parent, so I'm again, take what resonates. But I'm just thinking where my mom worked a lot when I was younger. She was always kind of go go go, but she Gemini sun, but I always had time. Like I do. I enjoyed my time growing up as a kid, and I feel like I feel that I'm just getting an energy that's coming through of just like a kids are more, or maybe if this is something that's resonating with you, that kids are more receptive than you would think, that you can talk about this kind of stuff, that they notice you're this, and that, and they may try to pull back or something along those lines. It's like knowing that the Empress is being recognized here. That's just something that just is coming through, Cancer. So again, just take that if it resonates. But let's see what else we got coming through here, Cancer. And no two, yeah. Let's see what's going on here. All right, Cancer. Hey yourself. Let's see what else is going on here. Interesting. Okay, so you have the Four of Wands, the Knight of Wands, the Three of Swords and the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, and then you have the Seven of Pentacles and the King of excuse me, and then you got the Page of Cups in reverse here too, and then you got the King of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles up right here, Cancer. Now, this little pocket here, this Page of Cups, Knight of Wands, Four of Swords, Four of Wands. This gives me this energy of not making enough time for play. I feel like those inner child needs are getting ignored. The Knight of Wands is one that does lead with his heart. For me, this is Leo energy. This is where I feel if we're in this state of busyness where we're working ourselves to the ground, it saps our energy so much, Cancer. And I feel that's a way. I feel like that's I feel like the energies here are wanting you, with the Seven of Pentacles, are wanting you to look at where you're putting your time. Look at where maybe we can free up something a little bit more. Where maybe we can, yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like it's trying to take some sort of, some weight off your shoulders here, but I'm getting even like a community energy here. Like if you're, I feel if you're, especially with like this Three of Swords here, there's something about you may be kind of healing through something here, Cancer. We're trying to, I feel like there's a way that we're trying to heal something here, Cancer. Maybe this is like you're channeling this healing through your work. Just as an example, maybe you have some emotions coming up and you're just redirecting it. Very kind of Capricorn. You're like redirecting it into what you're doing, but we're not facing it. We're just let us stuck under the rug, and it just feels like that it's not, something's not getting the proper attention that it's needing here. The King of Cups is wanting you to really, I don't know, it's like looking at something a bit deeper here, looking at a wound, really kind of taking a breather. It's like I'm even maybe getting, for some, when was like the last time you allowed yourself to just kind of let go a little bit, to have like a cry. Maybe you've been keeping, things kind of pent up here, and just needing just like a healthy space to just kind of be for a little bit. Let me get a little something else on this Three of Swords. Let me get a clarifier and see if I can understand it. All right, Cancer. Prepare yourself. All right, so the Three of Swords, a lot of swords here, is clarified by the Ten of Swords and the Ten of Swords in reverse, and then the King of Swords upright. And I feel there's something here, Cancer, that it's fascinating. It's like it's like you've been something that you've been processing, and maybe you've been going real kind of head first about it, being very logical about it, like, yeah, like this was tough, but I got to keep this thing going. I got to do this and that. And where that is, yes, there are times where, we got to push forward, kind of bring some strength. There is a time where, I feel like there's a balance that's wanting to come here with the King of Cups and the King of Swords, that because something I feel here with the Knight of Wands is just that we haven't taken the time for you, Cancer, time to breathe. And it's just maybe because you have other obligations, and maybe have other people that you may be taking care of, possibly here. And just been, again, kind of taking on your own, taking on maybe everyone else's stuff, but needing to. And this could even be with this King of Swords. This could be practicing maybe a bit more almost like maybe exercising like some boundaries, possibly here. Maybe just like if you're not feeling it, not maybe picking up that extra shift, or maybe not like Interesting there, Cancer. So, and I would say too, just the fact that Venus is here, a lot of Venus energy going on. I would even say just see what's your relationship with rest, with taking breathers, and seeing if the people around you as well, just thinking about Venus, is is there a lot of stress around that too? So, because again, remember, we can take on a lot of energy. So, let's get some advice from the Empress. All right, Cancer. Thank you. Last little bit here. Interesting. Okay, so you have the Ten of Cups in reverse, and then you have the Full card, Uranus energy, and then the sign that they're domicile in, the Star card, Aquarius energy, up right here, Cancer. And let's switch back over. Because that's interesting. The thing that popped up when I was thinking about this is that after the Tower is the Star card, and I feel that it's like the Fool here is wanting you to take this opportunity to maybe do some healing, Cancer. To, if it feels like something with the Ten of Cups is a little, not maybe how we expected it to be. Maybe a situation didn't work out, and it's just like we're processing something here. And this could be too, maybe just we haven't had enough time to spend with the family, possibly, and whatever family means for you. Maybe this could be maybe enough time to spend with your friends, or maybe spend time with your pets, or just spend time just at home, just to be with you. But I even feel here, that's interesting. I even feel here there's this this thing of not letting taking a breather be an indicator that you're not working towards your dreams or something here. Appreciating what healing can, that it can move you closer to that star, to that goal, to that wish. And I'm still even getting here too. There's this, maybe this power in community, even where maybe if you just have a lot on your plate, maybe we can ask a friend to maybe babysit, or to maybe pet sit, or to something sit, so that you can maybe sit and just do and just be for a bit. And and one last little thing. If we're not sure about where something is going, because it's like the Ace of Pentacles here, it's like you have this seed, you have this idea, you're dreaming Empress, and maybe you're not sure where it's going or what it's manifesting as, but or how it's going to manifest. But this Fool is saying this, jumping towards this goal. If it's something that speaks to you, to go towards that thing, Cancer. So again, we're in a very receptive energy, so pay attention to that, to those intuitive inspirations, those ideas, those downloads, those. But I think I'm gonna leave that there, Cancer. It was something to think about. But if any of that resonated with you, Cancer, if you like that, give it a thumbs up. And share this thing, Cancer, if you know someone who's been, maybe kind of pushing it, kind of not taking the time to be with themselves, to gather with their energy, sit with what's going on. So it is something to think about, to take a breather, or to breathe on. And Subscribe there, Empress. Hit that bell button to get notified on all these videos each day. And then last little bit there, Cancer, if you want to know what's going on outside of these lunar shenanigans, if you want to see what Big Papa's doing and when Mercury's, or get a little deeper with what Mercury entering into Gemini means, or when we're getting ready to, Venus is going to be forming a conjunction with the Sun here soon. That's going to be exciting. But if you want to see what's going on with the astrological weather, come on over to my other channel, Alchemist 8. And I talk about all that stuff, get you all synced up with the energy, see how that may be showing up in your chart, and hopefully bring you some insights there to help you get into the flow. And all that housekeeping, Cancer, is down in the description box below. Look at me busting out these rhymes. So let me get your surprise card here, Cancer. Wow, so I can get you out of here, Cancer. Interesting. That is very interesting, Cancer. So you have the Six of Swords in reverse, and we had that yesterday for our surprise card, and that is very fascinating. So I feel like for some, in order to, because the Six of Swords is this moving on to new beginnings, going on to your grander horizons, but I do feel that there's a need, before we can get there, we need to take a beat on something, something like that's something that's needing, that's maybe that's just, I feel like it's wanting your attention here, Cancer. Before we close out on that, before I get your other oracle card, let me get a clarifier on that Six of Swords, because I find that fascinating that would happen like that. Especially before we get ready to get into the new lunar cycle. There we don't want to leave you on any cliffhangers here, Cancer. Alright, Cancer. Think for yourself. See what's going on here. Interesting. Okay, so interesting. So the Six of Swords is clarified by the Five of Cups upright, and then you have the Justice card, Libra, in reverse. And it's one of the signs that Venus is guardian over. But the Justice card here is this card of, it's a card of cause and effect. And I feel that it's like, for whatever I feel whatever direction I feel you feel things are going here, Cancer, I feel like be very mindful of that, and not in a warning type of way, or like a caveat, really. It just feels like that if you've been feeling a lot with this Five of Cups here, because that Five of Cups is what's really kind of interesting here. I feel that if you're, be mindful of just moving something from a reactive place, Cancer. Like it could slow some things down. For sure, because I'm just thinking with this new moon is going to be forming a square with Saturn. And there may be some delays that are coming up here, maybe some things where we may be disappointed, and then we may want to abandon something, or we need to maybe take some patience, maybe take a breather, maybe start something else, maybe do something from a different direction, or Let me get your oracle card here, Cancer. I'm even getting to be mindful of this, like, I almost feel like this energy of like maybe someone wanting to get, that you were disappointed in I don't want to say someone or something that, Yeah, let me get this oracle card here before I get into that, Cancer. Okay. Yeah, because that's... Think herself. Last little bit here, Cancer. We're ending on a real strong note here. We're ending on the Wild Rose Fairy card here, which is a card of love. That's why I feel like we want to, when we're going forward here into this next lunar cycle, we want to, and I mean, when we're going forward in general there, Cancer, lead with love. Try to lead with love always. But there was something here about, just considering that you got the Ten of Swords, which could be a card of betrayal here. This Justice card is giving me like a wanting to get someone to get theirs, or just be mindful of that. What you put out there, we get back, Cancer. And I'm not saying where if someone wrongs you or anything that they... What I'll leave with that is just like when we put that love out there, instead of putting that like they'll get theirs, the universe just works itself out. I feel like you just focus on putting the love in you and getting past that. Again, that's very interesting there, Cancer. But I do feel too that if there's something here that's keeping you from leading with love, Cancer, like doing what you love. Whether this is maybe you're wanting to move to a new place, but something with like maybe like a job, maybe a relationship, something is keeping there, maybe family, or it's like looking at what's keeping you from maybe taking actions, taking a breather. Are we, when we're making a decision or not making a decision, is this coming from a place of love? That's very interesting, Cancer. But I think I'm going to leave that there. So a little something to reflect on going into this next lunar cycle here, which I think is going to be an interesting one, Cancer. We shall see, won't we? But stay mindful out there, Cancer. Stay present, stay grounded. Sync up with the moon, Cancer. Like I was saying, get out there and I feel like when the moon is in her new moon phase, this is a great time to just kind of feel the energies and really be receptive to what comes in there, Cancer. It's fertile ground we're working with when we get into the new moon phase. And I will catch you on the next one. Mercury, Mercury, they Cancer. I said that on the last one, and that I was my notes. I got a little mixed up in my notes there, but I actually see a Mercury day. Be excited for this next new moon.